Hi everybody, it's Tom again. Welcome back to the shop. I know there's a million pin turning videos done. Getting ready to play around, make a pin. Thought I'd shoot a video. Just remember, if you don't feel safe with the techniques I show or use, don't do them. Woodworking is dangerous, and you need to be comfortable with what you're doing. Some of the techniques I use are probably not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but they work for me. Like I said, if you see something I'm doing that you don't feel comfortable doing, figure out another way to do it, or do it the way that you normally do it that you're more comfortable with. Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button over here, and share the link with your friends. Thanks. Okay, got the lathe set up. I've got my blank drilled. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a center finder. I'm going to find the center of my blank on both ends, and I'll come back and do that again here in a minute. But with this one's not quite square, so I'm going to run my center finder from all four corners, and that'll give me, I don't know if you can see it, it gives me a real small square right there in the center for centering. Going to come in and do the other end as well. Once again, just use my center finder, run all four corners. There's one, there's two, and there you can see, I think it's nowhere close to centered and squared. So if I run all four corners, I end up with a little small square in the center, that I can use that to center my drill for my drill bits, or for my for drilling my for my tubes. I'm going to take my blank. I'm going to set my tube on there and mark absolute end of the tube. Whoops. Yeah, that's the end I want to use. I'm going to set it on set my tube on there, mark the absolute end of the tube, so I know bare minimum that I need to cut. Then I'm going to make another mark, probably a strong 1/8 away from it. Set my other tube right at that mark and mark the absolute end of it. So I have it marked on the from the end and the center. I'm also going to take a pencil. I'm going to run a line across that center line where I'm going to cut. That way I know when I go to set it up on the mandrel that this end and this end go together, so I have a continuity of grain. Okay, I've cut my blank in half. I've come in and cut my blank in half, mark the ends again. I don't have a drill press. Well, not one that's easily accessible. So I typically will drill this by hand with a hand drill. I just put it in a vise, line up on my center mark. Sorry, I got my hand in the way. Line up on my center mark, and just use my hand drill and eyeball it. I'm slipping a little bit. Let me move to the center of the vise. There we go. Now it's nice and snug. Set it in that center mark, eyeball for straight. Let me hit pause for a minute. Okay, I paused for a second. Got my jaw guards for my vise. See if I can do this without it slipping again and everything. So just line it up, eyeball it nice and slow and easy. Got my my two halves of my blank drilled. I came out fairly close to center, close enough. Other end's really good and centered. So I think we're good enough for here. I'm gonna go ahead and glue the tubes in. Scuff them up with sandpaper and glue them in. I'm gonna use some CA glue, and then we'll trim the barrels. So we'll use the barrel trimmer and trim up the ends. So give me just a second, and I'm gonna glue these in. You guys know how to glue, so I'm not gonna show you how I do that. I'll get this glued up, and then we'll come back and barrel trim, and then start turning. Okay, I went over and I super glued my tubes. Gonna do the same thing, just freehand it with the tube trimmer. Right to the end of my tube. So let's move over to the lathe. Okay, got my pin mandrel on my lathe on my little mini. Cheapy little lathe I bought. I'm trying to remember where I bought it. One of the big box stores. They had a sample, a floor sample, a floor model. That trying to find my marks. There they are. I'm gonna turn that around. Had a floor model. Put one of the bushings on, the spacers. Put a piece of wood on, my other bushing on. Now I'm gonna have to stack up some spacers on this one. Had them on. They had a floor model, and I offered them. I asked them what it'd take to take the floor model that was missing bits and pieces. And they shot me back a price, and I said, yeah, I don't like that price. And I think I ended up paying like $40 or $45 for the lathe. I'm over here aggressively looking for bushings to just fill into where I get my lock nut on here. So those don't really matter what they are. I just grabbed some other bushings and dropped them on there. I think I ended up spending like $45, maybe $50 for the lathe. But it had had everything I needed on it, basically, except for trying to remember what it didn't have. Might have been missing the tailstock, or maybe it didn't come with faceplates or something for bowl turning. Maybe that's what it was. I don't remember what it was. But I got a real good deal on it, so I can't complain. I've turned a bunch of stuff and a bunch of pins on it. Make sure everything's locked down. I want to bring that tailstock up. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on it, on my mandrel. Just enough to where that live center turns. Then I'm going to lock it down. I'm going to crank this up a little bit. I'm going to use some carbides today. And not quite tight enough on my locking nuts. So. I'm still slipping. Tighten that lock nut down a little more. Cover myself with shavings. I really like the carbides. I bought these from Captain Eddie Castellan down in New Orleans. Best prices on the carbide cutters around. Picked up bar. I think this bar might be one that I got from him. I picked up some bar, and I've made a couple other bars. Pretty straightforward. Go watch Captain Eddie's YouTubes and check out his website, eddiecastellan.com. Best price on cutters around. Period. Bar none. Okie dokie. Let's switch over to something a little better. Move my tool rest up a little bit. This Cocobolo is really pretty. That's going to be real pretty. That's going to turn out real pretty. I like to leave my slim lines a little heavy, a little fat. Down on the bottom I'm going to have to sand some, but I think everything's going to work out right. I'm doing basically a planing cut here and just planing it right off the top. That's why it's coming out so smooth, just coming in, landing on top, just planing it right off, a shearing cut. Yeah, that's going to be beautiful. I like that. That's pretty. Gonna do some sanding. There it is. Okay, I've got these little, yeah, I like those. I don't know what to call them. Little scalloped edged. I want to turn this down fairly slow. Don't want it to run real fast. I like to stack them all up in my hand. That way I've got some cushion. But I'm just going to come in and I'm going to in little circles. Keep it moving. Don't want to sand too much on the bushings. There's my 150, 220, or no, 180. Just got them stacked up, all my grits, one after another. 150, 180, next will be 220. Like I said, just make nice little circles. Medium pressure, not lots of pressure. Make sure I hit everything. Then sand with the grain between every grit. I think I'm going to try to do a CA finish on this one. I've never done CA before, so we'll see how that works out. So there goes my 180. Here goes my 220. My 220. Here goes my 320. There's my 320. Is that 320? Yeah, 320. There's I think 600. I can't read it. You are watching this in real time too. I may speed it up, but I'm not spending a whole lot of time on each grit. Don't need to. Here's my 800. And I don't really need to sand this smooth if I'm going to be doing CA, but have it. And here's the foam sanding pads, 500,000, 2,000, and 4,000. So gonna hit it real quick with those too. There again, just light movements, light little circles. There's the that was the yeah, I got one out of order. That was a 500. Here's the 2,000. Here's the 4,000. and I forgot the 1000, skipped over it. So it's gonna be a nice looking pen. Trying to decide if I want to do if I want to potentially screw up a good looking Cocobolo pen with a CA finish that I've never done before. I've never done one that turned out right. So I think I'm going to stop here for now and decide what I want to do. Play with the CA finish a little bit. Throw some cheap wood on here and practice the CA. So, and figure out what it is I'm going to do. So I'm going to put it on hold for now. Hey everybody, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the pen that I started the other day. I decided to do a different finish rather than the CA finish. I decided to do a spray lacquer. Came in and sprayed about 4 coats of spray lacquer on the pen. And going to go ahead and put it together today. So here we go. Okay. Went over and grabbed a cigar box. I'm going to dump my pieces parts in there so I don't lose them. Just a hint, that's another project I've been working on. The cigar boxes. I've got several of them floating around here, and that's another project I've been working on. So first thing I'm going to do is take my nib and I'm going to put it in the tip of my pen. Y'all have seen these, how to put these. A lot of you have seen how to put these in. I use a bar clamp, and I just slip the tip into the, let me see how well that's showing. It's not really showing well. Let me move the camera around a little bit. There I go. That shows a little better. I'll just take the nib, and I've got in the tip of my bar clamp. This is fighting me all the way across the board. I've got a little hole. That's from the oops, sorry, you can't see it. There's a little hole. That was from the first pen I did. That was a real pain in the butt getting that out of that little piece of plastic out of the nib. But that's it's worked really well. I just take the nib and slip it in there. And then I slide the back of my my bar clamp up. Then I just get everything lined up. And slowly screw in the nib. That's in there nice and tight. Then I'm going to take my mechanics, put my mechanics in. This is where you have to be careful. Slip my mechanics in. Slide my pipe or my bar clamp up. Slowly start pushing those in. I'm going to push them in what I know is way too not far enough. I'm going to check my pin to see where it's at. Okay, I've got a fair amount to go still. But I knew that, so I just keep on checking it and pushing it in, checking it and pushing it in. Until you get the tip out nice. Make sure that it's down where I want it to be. So there's the bottom half. I'm going to slip my ring on, my center ring on. Now I'm going to put the top together. Slip the cap into the clip. Let me double check and see how I want this to sit. Yeah, that's the way I want it to go. Slip that into my cap. Make sure my clip's going where I want it to go, sitting where I want it to sit. Push it in, give it a good twist. Now my cap's in, my top's on, my tip's in. Slide my pin all together. Uh-oh, apparently I got a booger. Booger of lacquer. Slide my pin together. Nice looking little slimline. Cocobolo. I really like the black highlights on that. I've got it sitting there where you can't see it. There it is. Zoom in on it a little bit. With the black pin, or with the black parts, with that Cocobolo with the black in there. I think it came out real pretty. Get everything lined up. I think it came out real nice. It's a nice looking little pin. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Share the link with your friends. Hopefully this was helpful. Help somebody. And I'm going to put another. Once I get this posted, got a couple more projects I'm working on too. So have a good day. Thanks for watching. Remember, be safe.